I got drunk this morning.
Welcome to the Too Old or Pure Gold movie podcast. In today's episode, it's a special St. Patrick's Day episode where we're discussing the 1993 comedy horror film Leprechaun. The format of our podcast, two Gen Xers rewatch beloved movies from our youth to find out, are they really as good as we remember? To help us debate and ultimately pass judgment, we ask our millennial co-hosts to watch these movies for the first time and help us determine, are they too old or pure gold? I'm your host, Olen Vanderleeden, representing Gen X. Joining me today is my Gen X co-host, Matthew Stockton.
Top of the morning to you.
Representing the millennials, we have comedian Will Corry.
Hey, what's up?
We are also very excited to have, for his first time on the pod, comedian and Irishman Daragh Turner.
Hey, how's it going? Long time listener, first time guest.
Well,
It's been pretty overdue.
Delighted to have you on representing the Irish.
all of them.
And representing Gen Z and leprechaun rights activist Nicole.
I'm ready to fight.
Today's movie is the 1993 action thriller Leprechaun, starring Warwick Davis and Jennifer Aniston. The movie is directed by Mark Jones, and Mark Jones is primarily known for 80s TV, including Knight Rider, awesome, The Fall Guy, awesome, and The A-Team, awesome. So I had high hopes going into this. Mark Jones wrote and directed this, and it's his first film. The tagline from the movie poster is, "Your luck just ran out." Brilliant. IMDb describes the movie as an evil, sadistic leprechaun goes on a killing rampage in search of his beloved pot of gold.
It was a bag of gold, but other than that, I agree.
It was a pot originally. Remember, he broke the pot?
Oh, yeah.
And there was a bag
It was
in
more
it?
like an urn.
You tell him,
For
Nicole.
those of you that have not seen the movie, I asked my 93-year-old dad to watch Leprechaun and summarize the plot.
I completely forgot that Opa's gonna have to watch this.
Yep.
Dan O'Grady returns home from North Dakota with a pot of gold stolen from a leprechaun. But the leprechaun follows him and seeks revenge. O'Grady manages to trap the leprechaun in a cradle secured with a four-leaf clover, which neutralizes its powers. But a decade later, a new family accidentally releases the leprechaun, who then hunts down anyone standing between him and his stolen gold.
Nice.
So before we get into it, I just want to know first reaction from you guys, how you felt about this movie. Daragh, you're the guest. You should go first.
All right, well, first of all, I thought it was quite racist that my first appearance on the show, you chose this film to have me. But that being aside, I loved the movie. I thought it was fantastic. It was, I was wrapped up in it from like the moment it started, and I had like a lot of like, I don't know, fake Irish stereotypes or whatever. Like we don't really talk about leprechauns or anything. Maybe because of this movie, so many people talk about them in like North America, but I thought it was a great film. I really enjoyed it.
You don't talk about them around non-Irish people, right? Amongst yourselves, you talk about them all the time. Is that it?
Yeah.
It's a secret.
Yeah.
Because I am not believing you don't talk about leprechauns. That doesn't seem true. Well, Daragh, I just have to say, I was actually hoping it would be much more racist and derogatory to Irish people, but I agree it was a great movie, but it could have been more racist.
Yeah, that's true. There's always room for more racism.
Nicole, what did you think?
Well, I disagree with your statement, but I really liked it. I loved it, actually. It was so fun. It was my favorite. I also really love the actor who was playing the leprechaun.
Yeah.
He's an actor that I already really like, so it was fun to see him do something so campy and ridiculous. It was really funny.
Matthew, you're the only one in an Irish shirt. What did you think of this?
So the movie is Jennifer Aniston's acting at her worst, and that's saying something. It's cinematic. It's cinematic junk food. You sit there going, they really found the money to make this, but it's delightful. It's magically delicious.
That's great.
Will Corry, known for loving every movie we do, what did you think?
Oh man, I would give this movie 4 leaf clovers, probably, out of 4 leaf clovers. No, I don't know. I didn't enjoy it, most of it. I think if you can look past, directing, acting, cinematography, script, all of the main components that make up a movie, you could really enjoy this film, probably.
I think sometimes a campy horror movie is just supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be well made. Although, I do think this one was better made than a lot of 80s horror movies.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was enjoyable at certain parts, but overall not a great movie. I will say the makeup department did an amazing job showing what Irish people actually look like, though, and I thought that was impressive.
Hilarious.
Well, Matthew, you mentioned it. This is Aniston's first movie, and I had no idea until I dialed this up. And she started Friends the next year after this.
Wow.
So, do you think this is the movie that got her the role? Do you think this is the tape that they played?
No, I think everyone in Friends got lucky. So lucky.
Interesting.
So you're not an Aniston fan?
Nothing's offensive about any of them, but it's just they got a show that was really popular, but none of them are great actors. Come on.
I would say Perry's pretty good. Rest in peace.
Yep.
Schwimmer as well as...
Schwimmer's in Band of Brothers. That's pretty good.
Well, I was fascinated by the fact that this was her first movie. I know that she doesn't like looking back on this movie, at least that's what she said. But I looked up stars that got their start in B movies, because she's not the first one. Let me know if you know any of these. Leonardo DiCaprio, first movie, Critters 3.
Wasn't he in Jeepers Creepers?
No, that's Justin Long.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Johnny Depp's first movie was Nightmare on Elm Street.
Correct. Charlize Theron was Children of the Corn 3. Matthew McConaughey was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So lots of actors started in this genre.
I think about Johnny Depp in his tank top crop top from Nightmare on Elm Street probably once a week.
I know. It's so good.
It's stuck in my brain.
So Mark Jones was inspired by the Lucky Charms commercial to make this film.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, it's inspiring.
Also, in Ireland we don't have Lucky Charms either, which is as a cereal, it's not sold in Ireland.
Okay, what do you call your marshmallow-based cereal?
We don't have a
there?
marshmallow-based cereal.
What?
Yeah, swear to God.
What kind of culture is this?
They just have potatoes.
Yeah, they have potatoes.
Yeah, we just have potatoes. Yeah, that's all we eat. Potatoes and whiskey.
Yeah. That's one of the notes I wrote. The first thing I wrote for this movie, I said I knew it was going to be a good Irish movie when the guy finished a bottle of Jameson right away. That's the opening scene. Is him throwing an empty bottle of Jameson.
I pulled one of the reviews forward for Daragh. There's a guy called Acetone74, and he says, being half Irish myself and a capitalist, I was left dumbstruck by the blatant racism of Leprechaun, in which the central character is Irish, mean, green, money-grubbing, seemingly drunk, violently tempered, and always rhyming. But then I thought about it for a few minutes and eventually realized it's all true.
Yeah, I was of the same opinion.
Okay, let's get into this movie. What are the rules with the 4-leaf clover? Like on the crate, beside the crate, because it was on the crate and kept him in it, and then it fell off and it was beside it and it didn't keep him contained anymore.
Well, I think it was that he couldn't do anything in the direction of it. So like when it was on top of the crate, he couldn't get out the top of the crate. And then once it was beside the crate, he could get out of the top of the crate.
But not the sides?
Yeah, I was confused by that too.
I think when you're dealing with a movie that's based off a cereal commercial, we don't need to dive too deep into the details. You know what I mean?
I need to
It's
know. I need
surface
to be.
level.
I need to be invested, Will.
This is a theory I wrote in my notes. It was I like the scene when the man shows the leprechaun a 4-leaf clover, and the leprechaun is terrified. I think that's just because Irish people don't eat green leafy vegetables. I think that's why. That's what it is. Yeah. Daragh, can you confirm? Or?
Am I your punching bag? What kind of podcast is this right now? No,
Why are you here to bully you?
I thought it was very good. Like, the 4-leaf clover, didn't really understand that. Also, like, he couldn't be, like, they shot him multiple times and that did nothing.
Yeah, he was like immortal or something.
Yeah, he could teleport at
He
times.
lost his hand and then reattached
So,
it.
I don't know. I was confused about how it kept him in the crate, but I did like
Well,
it.
it kept him in the crate because he didn't have his gold in the crate, and he only got all those powers back once he had his gold.
Oh, that's right. Actually, yeah, I did notice that. Now that you
Gold does give you powers. This I can
Does.
confirm.
look at Israel.
Okay, I have another fact check, Daragh, if you can help us with this cultural element. Is it a leprechaun thing or an Irish thing to like cleaning shoes?
Yeah, again, I was dumbfounded by that. I did not know that was the lore of leprechauns.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I'm not in Ireland. Like, it's so weird because now it makes me think. I wish I looked up the history of the leprechaun. Like, is it a North American based like folktale they tell? Because as a child, like I just can't remember any stories about, like, we have like myths and like legends or tales of people and stuff, but I've never heard a story about a leprechaun. So I wonder, like, where it first originated. Was it in Ireland or was it outside?
That's a good question. You guys don't have the old rainbow myth that you see a rainbow and there's a pot of gold at the end?
No, really. Like, I mean, we're aware of it, but I don't think, like, there's no like story or history attached to it. I've only heard it from like American people or Canadians being like, "Oh, where's your pot of gold?" Or like, you know what I mean? If a rainbow comes out, someone will be like, "Oh, you should go towards that."
Interesting.
Matthew, do you think there's an underlying message about the negative aspects of greed in this movie?
Thinly.
Just a long sigh.
Thinly, yes. I mean that's the whole thing, right? But you know, I just want to get into the scenes of how people got killed.
Oh, go for it. Why don't you jump right in?
Death by pogo stick is the most hilarious thing I've ever seen in my life.
That was fun.
I love Death by Pogo Stick. That was so funny.
I love that.
He was very whimsical. Like, he was like a crazy, mischievous monster.
Right?
Like,
I loved it because it was just so campy. I loved that he said so many things that rhymed. He had so many little lines, and I loved all the weird deaths. Like, as we said, death by pogo stick. I also liked attack by shoe buckle.
That was good. Yeah, I like that.
Slicing someone up with the buckle of his shoe. So funny.
Well, if we're talking about favorite parts, I love the mini cars. Giving him mini cars.
Yeah, fantastic. Also, what would the word be? Like, the impact level of the mini cars is insane. He crashes into them one point, and I'm like, is this thing a tank? Like, what is going? It looked like a monster
Like the whole
truck
car
rally.
flip?
Yeah.
spun the truck over like 4 times.
Right. And then they get out completely unharmed. I also loved, like, maybe I just didn't pay close enough attention, but they didn't explain the relationship between, like, the 80s hot guy, the disabled man, and the child. Like, what did they have to do?
I was wondering that too.
Like,
How do they know each other? How did they get into business?
yeah. And the disabled man seems to be, like, led by the child a lot, which I love. Like, he was the alpha in the relationship.
I loved it. And one of the moments that I laughed out loud is when he swallowed the gold coin. He's like, I know how to check if it's gold, and he bit it and then swallowed it. And I'm like, that is totally a Matthew move.
That was one of my favorite lines in the movie. He says,
Yeah,
"I've got
Olen,
the last gold coin."
I swallow, I don't spit.
Happy St. Patty's Day.
I'm glad I got my cold open for this episode.
No, do not use that as a cold open.
No, I'm in charge of editing. Okay, other favorite parts. So I think the makeup and the stunts were amazing. I'm going to tell you guys right off the bat, this was a $900,000 budget.
That's crazy.
What they did with the stunts and the makeup was legit good.
That's pretty incredible for that budget.
Yeah, I would have assumed it would have been at least over $1 million. Like that's pretty impressive.
You know what I really like in this movie? The idea that you can get an operation to make you smart. I wish they had that because I would save up.
Who gets an operation to make them smart?
They said that at the end that he knows it's not a real operation. He's just telling Ozzy that to make him feel better.
The kid told Ozzy, if we get the gold, I'm going to get you an operation to make you smart. And then he said, I'm not smart.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Like, well, some people say you're not.
Yeah, I didn't love that.
I really had a flashback to many conversations between me and Matthew in that whole exchange.
Yeah, I didn't love that.
Do you mean I'm not smart, Matthew?
You're smart in your own way.
That is
thanks.
a weird.
I didn't love that whole general concept, but I did like the line. I did like when he said, like, what? People talk about me? Like, people say that about me? And the kid said, yeah, not to your face, like, behind your back.
Will, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just gonna say that was a weird, like, slow burn version of bullying a mentally disabled guy. Is like, we're gonna give you a surgery to make you smart, and then later on you have to tell him, like, yeah, there's no such thing actually. We're just pulling the rug out from under you.
I agree with you guys. It was a weird choice of characters, that mix of people.
I mean, I liked it, though.
I enjoyed it. I didn't understand it. I agree with what Daragh said.
I also appreciated that, other than that one moment talking about the operation, they were pretty nice to Ozzy considering when this was filmed. Like, they weren't that mean to him.
Yep. They didn't use the nasty slurs. That's true.
Yeah, they didn't use slurs. They weren't belittling him all the time.
You're saying they should have been meaner.
No, I'm saying it was
you would have liked
nice.
if they called him
Irish.
a hard on. Good stuff.
Okay.
Also, sorry to interrupt.
Yo, please.
I'm just looking at my notes, and we were talking about, like, how you injure him is very ambiguous. Like, he's impervious to bullets and fire, but then in one scene, a door chops off his hand. Do you guys remember
but it
that?
just climbed right back on.
Yeah, that was a great scene because then the hand, operated on its own. I thought that was cool.
I did like that. But the bullets knocked him out for a couple minutes, so I think it makes sense that his hand could get chopped off and just reattach itself.
But I definitely think that door is dangerous and they need to sand down the rough edges a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know how a dull door managed to take it off so cleanly, but...
Yeah. Okay, if you like leprechauns and tiny cars, I love a leprechaun on a trike.
Okay, the tricycle was so funny and so unexpected.
The tricycle, the rollerblades, when he's like holding on to the end of the truck or whatever. There was multiple scenes in this movie of this little guy on wheels.
He was in a wheelchair at one point.
For a budget of $900K, like, they really went all out for
They
the
spent
wheels.
all of it on modes of transport for him.
It was awesome.
I loved the roller skates part, and I loved when he went through the fence and left a cartoon hole of a leprechaun.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
I have to ask, why couldn't that cop outrun the leprechaun? Because he didn't look fast. Even on roller skates, he didn't seem that fast.
Yeah, no, there was a real, like, that was a thing in the movie. Everyone would run away just slightly, and then he would, he's a little person. It's like, you can very clearly escape.
Or put hands on him. That was my immediate reaction. Like,
one of the scenes, they're in the truck, and they just escape him by slowly rolling up the window. Like, that's the only thing that stops him. And then he goes and gets his car and knocks their car over somehow. But
because he's too focused on the theatrics of it. He wasn't trying to get them as fast as possible. He was trying to be like, ah.
I have to go on record and say I would love to fight a leprechaun.
you think you would win?
I kind of do. Like, I was watching him in all the fights, and I think that everybody was not really trying hard enough.
He would love to fight everyone, though, so that's not saying that much. He thinks he could take anyone in a fight.
It's kind of true.
Yeah, kind of true.
Okay, so there were lots of good parts. Any other best parts before we talk about the worst parts?
I mean, Jennifer Aniston was incredibly beautiful in this film. I think it would be adverse if we didn't acknowledge that. Very bad at acting, but she looked incredible.
To touch
But
on,
she acts the same as she's acted in everything since. It's not like her... Love it or hate her acting, it has not gotten better.
I would say she's not a star, but she has like star quality. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she's got the look, she's got everything it takes, but just acting in general is like,
Yeah.
Something about her when she's on screen, she's just like captivating, even though it's not the best acting.
She's beautiful.
I did also love the way the Leprechaun could perfectly like mimic anyone's voice while also doing a completely terrible Irish accent. Like he was capable of doing anyone's voice but could not do a convincing Irish accent, which I liked.
I did think it was funny that there were no Irish actors in this movie, except maybe the
guy at the start definitely was Irish.
Yeah.
I recognized him. I don't know his name now, and the woman, she sounded Irish, like when she offered him hot tea or something. I can't remember her name.
He just finished a bottle of Jameson. He doesn't want tea. Even I picked up on that. Come on, lady.
Yeah.
I would assume it's because when this movie was made, there probably weren't a lot of Irish little people who were in acting. Like, it probably was harder to find. So I like that they at least went with an actor from the UK.
Yeah, Warwick is great too. He was like...
He's very talented.
I mean, I appreciate that, unlike many movies of today, they didn't just take an actor and shrink him down with special effects, right? Actually use...
I really like that they used a real person instead of like a puppet, which most 80s movies, I feel like they went with puppets.
And I think it paid off because he was a really good looking leprechaun. I mean, I don't have a lot to compare it to. Daragh, maybe you do, but does he look like all the leprechauns or?
There was one scene where I actually did write in my notes, I was like, oh God, I kind of look like this guy. Like when he looked at the camera, I was like, oh fuck. But I'm not, I have no knowledge or frame of reference of what a leprechaun looks like. But no, I thought the costumes were great and stuff. And he did seem like very animatronic in his movements. Like when I watched it, I kind of thought it was a puppet. Even now, I didn't realize it was a man behind it. So there was it was good work from him, I believe.
Actually, pretty famous actor too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't expect him to do something like this.
He was before this. He was in Willow.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Worst parts.
I have another best part.
Okay.
I liked how strong of a character Jennifer Aniston's character was. I liked that she was like a strong feminist character, and I appreciated that she took charge in the end. She was like the one leading everything by the end, taking care of all those boys who were like falling into bear traps and all that. She was taking care of them. She was handling the weapons by that point, and she had lots of good, powerful lines.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yep, she was good.
And I'll start with worst parts, and that's the total opposite of that. This sexy hot guy, not sexy or hot at all. Like they needed better male. They needed better male toddy. Yeah.
You didn't think the 80s painter was hot?
No.
I was blown away by him. I thought their chemistry
Did you get a semi?
I mean, I'll be honest. I watched the opening of the movie, seen the thing with the leprechaun and the guy in the Jameson, and like he pushes the woman down the stairs and everything. Then when the 80s painter came in and him and Aniston had their moment, I completely forgot this was a movie about a leprechaun. And at that point, I was fully aroused and very excited for what I thought would be a highly sexual film. But I was upset that they didn't fully... Did they kiss or anything even in the movie? Or was it all just heavy petting? Yeah.
They were too busy.
I thought that he caressed her leg, but it was a leprechaun.
Yeah.
I was slightly hoping at the end that like he would make a move and she'd be like so offended and be like, clearly I'm in love with Ozzy, the disabled man. But it didn't happen. What other bits?
Okay, worst parts for me: sticking your hand in a hole. That seemed like a low percentage move.
A hole that you think a scared animal is in?
Yeah.
Let's just trap it and jam my whole arm in there.
And I'm gonna call out the painting job that they did on that house. That was terrible.
Oh, the colors that they chose? They should go to jail for that.
I think both of the guys were special needs, to be honest with you.
This is why hire a pro.
Yeah.
Right? Don't paint yourself if you don't know how.
What was the painting company's name, by the way? That was another word.
Three guys
that paint or something? That was like on the side of the truck?
3 guys who paint. One of them's a child. It's fine.
Child's the alpha. Don't worry about it. It's like,
we have one guy who knows how to paint and his 2 sidekicks.
You know, now I'm circling back, but I really am curious the story of the kid and the disabled man and where they came from and why they're working for this.
Yeah, it's an interesting group of people that they never explained how they met, and we don't know how they know each other, and we don't know how they started a business.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask you guys, do you think this movie was successful?
Also,
No.
wait, going back to that, where's that kid's parents? Did they make him get this job? Is he allowed to work at that age,
that's
or
what
is
I
he
was
just
wondering.
hanging out here?
I think they abducted him at one point, and they're now making him paint houses.
that's cool.
He seemed to like it, though.
Yeah. Well, what can I say? Okay, do you guys think this movie was successful?
No.
I love it so much. But
what
I
is
don't
a
think
successful film, though? What are we defining?
Okay, well, there's two measures of success, and we look at both of them here. One is, did it make money, and the other is, did people rate it high? So we'll get into it and we'll answer this question. According to Box Office Mojo Worldwide, Leprechaun was the 116th highest earning film at the box office in 1993.
116.
How many movies do they release a year? That could be amazing. For all we know, there was
17. Jurassic Park was the leader at the box office in 1993, and this film was beat by a lot, including RoboCop 3, Weekend at Bernie's 2, and Super Mario Brothers.
Come on.
However, it did beat some movies. Matthew, see if this surprises you. It beat Dazed and Confused.
What?
Wow.
And it beat Ghost in the Machine. And this one surprises me. It beat Surf Ninjas.
I've never seen Surf Ninjas.
Yeah. So it's a puzzle.
I haven't seen Surf Ninjas, but it's going on my list.
Unforgiven was the Best Picture winner this year at the Oscars. Great movie. And Leprechaun was skunked at the Oscars. No Oscar nominations or wins.
Not even for makeup?
That's crazy.
Okay. Here's where it gets interesting. So budget, I already told you, $900,000. Any guesses what it did at the box office?
I would say
$1 million.
no, probably 4 million.
I'm going to say $1 million.
I'm going to say 20 million.
What?
I'll go like somewhere around 10.
Okay. It did $8.5 million. So,
Whoa.
but there's more. It also grossed $15 million on video after.
Oh.
So there's a reason. It's no surprise. This is a whole franchise now, but there's a reason that it's a franchise, and I've got a lot of stats on the franchise. So together, if I add this up properly, that's almost $24 million on $900,000. Like, that is impressive. And let's not
Pretty good.
forget, this is the guy's first film.
Yeah. Pretty good.
So now let's get real. Rotten Tomatoes. Did critics like this movie, and did the audience like this movie? What do you guys think the score was out of 100?
I feel like critics probably weren't the biggest fans of this movie. I'm not sure what metric film reviewers actually measure it by, but I presume audience loves it. Like, it seems like it would have a cult following. And
You can guess a number, though.
oh, I guess a number. Okay.
It's out of
And-
100.
Okay.
It's a percentage.
Okay, then critics scored it 21, audience 69.
Okay.
69.
Yeah, 69.
I'm gonna
That's a
say
good number.
critics probably 30%. Audience, I'll go 70%. Price is right.
I'd say critics 30, audience. This movie is so fun, but it's so bad it's good. So I'm going to say audience doesn't really have a sense of humor. I'm going to say 40.
I'm gonna say like 40 and 50. Even horror movies that are good, but like campy, usually get pretty bad scores.
Will, you did very good on critics. So critics 35, audience 33. So they were agreed.
Ooh, wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
So Daragh, low score is the winner, and Matthew wins with a 12.
Yeah.
You had a 49, Will 42, and Nicole a 22. So you two guys overestimated the audience score.
I think this is one of those movies that like it's a cult classic. People love to watch it, but they don't actually love the movie.
I think you're right.
You know what I mean? And it's Jennifer Aniston's first movie, so I think that brings a lot of curiosity from movie fans.
Rotten Tomatoes isn't like the percentage isn't how good is the movie. It's how many people said it's worth watching.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's not. Yeah. Because
It's not like all the critics watched it and were like, this is only a 3.5 out of 10. No, they were like, 35% of them said, yeah, you should watch this.
that's why I like Rotten Tomatoes as a measure for this, because it's just how many people say this is worth watching.
Right. Right.
Okay, some trivia for you guys. So, due to Jennifer Aniston's later success on TV, many people rented this movie and it spawned a lengthy series of sequels. So, because of her, it did well on VHS, and because of that, they made many, many more movies, and I'll tell you about those later. Aniston, initially in her career, was actually accused by Warwick of pretending that this movie didn't exist and not acknowledging it, but now she's kind of come around and said, like, yeah, it gave me my start.
What does that mean? She just didn't acknowledge it. They were like asking her, so what was your first movie? She's like, no, don't remember.
Friends was my first acting gig.
That's crazy.
No, it wasn't. And we all know. We all know Jennifer.
When it came to casting, everybody wanted a little person to play the Leprechaun. Someone suggested Warwick Davis, but Mark Jones didn't think Warwick would do it because he was just off of his success with Willow and didn't think an actual accomplished actor would want to be in this film.
He's not a little person.
He is.
He is.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
He's a little person.
I thought you were saying they gave it to this guy instead of a little person. I was like, what?
No,
what is this?
he did it on his knees the entire time.
Yeah.
So Mark Jones drove the script to his house in England. Davis read the script and was delighted to play a villain. And actually, he'd gone a little bit without having any work, and he was having a hard time in his life.
Whoa. Hold on, Olen. What do you mean by a little bit? What does that mean?
Well, I'd have to dig up his
Why'd you use
IMDb.
that word? Can we just say...
A while, yeah. Good
Yeah,
point,
there you
good
go.
point.
Yeah,
You can put me in woke or joke.
There you go. Let's edit that out.
You're bombing.
It wasn't your best work, Will. Don't put that in your act.
Yeah. Warwick did his own stunts, including the skating. He actually is a roller skater.
Amazing.
He did his own stunts, including
It
the
makes
skating.
me love him more.
And he was the only person not to be hurt
Not to be hurt.
in the film. Yeah.
They all
How
got
did he
injured.
get hurt?
Everybody got injured from all of the stunts. He's the only one that came out without any injuries.
I love the idea of the kid getting hurt because he didn't do any stunts. I like the thought that he just like tripped over something and injured himself on set.
And I have no idea what Jennifer Aniston made for this movie, but she was offered $25,000 to do the sequel, but refused it because she was already doing Friends.
Yeah. 25 grand isn't going to take you off the Friends set.
Probably got like 10 grand or 15 grand or something. For the first
Nicole will like this, but all of those outdoor scenes were filmed on the site of Little House on the Prairie.
Wow,
I
really?
like that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Again, another little
It's a
joke,
little known
Olen.
fact that leprechauns were in the background of all the Little House on the Prairie scenes. If you look closely, you'll see him searching for his gold in the background.
And I told you this is Mark Jones' first movie. He actually wrote this and wanted to direct it, and the studio offered him cash to not direct it, and he refused. He said the whole reason I did this was so I could direct a film.
They offered him money to not direct it.
They offered him more money to not direct.
Oh wow, I would definitely take that. I'm a sucker for money.
I would too, but you're Irish, right?
Yeah.
Irish love
I don't know
their
what
gold.
that means, but it sounded funny in my head.
Yeah, no, it was funny. I agree with
It
it.
sounded funny in my head.
Okay, woke or joke? My Irish joke?
Woke or joke means what? Like
Did any jokes not hold up?
Anything that didn't age well.
Anything that was terribly racist or sexist or homophobic.
I didn't pick up on anything particularly.
No, I thought it was. Yeah, I thought everything held up well. I have in my notes here it was a tour de force of its time, and it could not or should not ever be remade. It was an iconic piece of art that should have been an abomination, but was a fantastic watch.
Yeah.
Acting,
good
special
man.
effects,
Good man.
and light classic racism make this film a must-see for any lovers of cinema.
Did you call it classic racism?
Light classic racism.
Daragh, that was beautiful. That was beautifully said.
So eloquent.
Thank you.
And
Look, he came prepared.
we are so fortunate because we got skunked by Siskel and Ebert. They did not review this movie, and Daragh, I think you did a better job than those guys could. That was beautiful.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Well
Got
done.
a
Can't believe
career.
I'm not sure what metric you guys give movies, but I rated it 7.8 Olens out of 10. Whatever.
I'm going to use that rating system from now on.
Any Olin's is good.
My only thing that I didn't love that didn't age perfectly was that the painter made a few sexist comments, but honestly, every time Jennifer Aniston put him in his place. So I appreciated that, actually.
There you
I have
go.
to say, too, Daragh, as I said at the beginning, I really hoped this was going to be way more racist than it was.
Yeah.
But turned out to be not so bad. It wasn't so hard on the Irish.
I just wanted on record that I did not want it to be racist.
Okay, I'll edit that out.
Gotta have
Don't
some sunny
edit
days.
that out.
I'll edit.
Too funny.
Okay, so let me share a few reviews. So however you guys felt about this movie, I promise you there's others who liked it more or less than you.
Oh, definitely. I'm waiting for these ones.
And although it was initially rated harshly by the critics, the director stated that he felt the critics never really understood what he was trying to do. There was a fan base that understood what I
I'm
was
so
doing.
misunderstood.
There was a fan base that understood what I was doing and never took it too seriously. I wasn't trying to make The Exorcist or Rosemary's Baby, so just keep that in mind as I read these reviews. Okay, there were 25 10-star reviews out of 250 total reviews.
That's probably the lowest percentage we've had.
Wait, this review site, you can give it, that's the metric, out of 10 stars?
Yeah, you rate whatever you think this film was out of 10. Like you gave it a 7.8 Olens out of 10.
Okay.
So what I like to do is I'm always fascinated by people that love
it.
movies so much. Because most of the movies we watch, let's be honest, they're like between a 3 and an 8. But I love hearing from the people that say this is the best movie ever made. And I love hearing from the people that hate it too, because there's, in my opinion, very few movies that are so bad it's a 1. So that's what we do here.
Olen loves passion, is what he's saying.
Okay.
I love passion. I love people that commit one way or the other.
Oh, yeah.
That's nice.
Okay, so here's the people that think this was the greatest film. Punk19 says, when I first watched this film, it freaked me out, but now it doesn't. Good for you, Punk. Another reviewer says, this is the movie that humanity has been waiting for. Pure cinematic perfection. I am devastated that the highest score I could give this film is a 10 because it should, in fact, rate off of the scale. In addition to being the most powerful and thought-provoking movie in the history of cinema, it has also inspired me to become a better, more caring and generous person.
That was amazing.
Interesting.
Who wrote that review?
Matthew wrote that.
I did not.
No, so somebody that goes by the name Ordinary Day.
Shout out Ordinary Day. That was good.
And J. Nelson says, quite simply, the best moment of Jennifer Aniston's career, a near-perfect horror comedy, far funnier than anything Friends can offer. I agree.
I also agree.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I agree that it's probably the highlight of her career. What else has she done that was good?
Horrible Bosses. She's good in that.
Horrible Bosses, just go with it. The Apple TV show about the Me Too movement. What's that one?
She's the Man.
I haven't seen that.
She's in
She's the Man.
Yeah.
Is she in She's the Man?
I believe she played the lead in that. Don't fact check me on that.
Barnes.
All right. Anyway, moving on swiftly.
You had me believing you.
Thank you.
Zach Morin says, I've got mad respect for leprechauns.
He just likes what they're all about.
And this guy might be being sarcastic, but he said, this movie scared the hell out of me, and is it based on a true story? And
Maybe.
something about this one I found disturbing. Big Bad Wolf says, little girls shouldn't look for four-leaf clovers.
What does that mean?
What does that
something
mean?
There's something sinister there, isn't there?
Irish people are always trying to be ominous and mysterious. You know, they're always trying to throw you off. So
Sounds
I feel like
creepy.
it was more a play on words about like the microcosm that is society in that time period. Like four-leaf clovers and little girls are more
you told him he's Siskel and Ebert, and now he's feeling himself. Now he's-
juxtaposition of the time.
I was going to say, Matthew, you've been displaced as the smartest guy on the podcast.
That's not a good sign. If I am the smartest man on this podcast,
It's a pretty low bar. It's
Yeah,
a
that
pretty
was a
low bar.
small hurdle. That was a very small Warwick Davis-sized hurdle.
Okay.
I don't trust any man who calls adult women little girls.
Agreed. That's
All
why I
right.
flagged it. It was problematic. Okay,
Oh.
tell you what. Let's hear from the people who absolutely hated this movie. Again, I don't understand how you could hate this. I know it's not cinematic genius, but it was fun.
But it's so campy in the best way.
So, there were a total of 12 one-star reviews compared to the 25 10-star reviews.
Okay.
So, Bold and Tommy. First, why did I rent this? Second, why did I bother putting it into my DVD player? Third, why didn't I just shut it off before the credits even started?
That sounds like a you problem.
ZB Felt says, I wanted to see this movie because Jennifer Aniston is in it and I love her. Unfortunately, the young boy was a superior actor in this particular film. Sorry about your luck, Jen. Generous Palm Stroke. Matthew, that would be a good name for you. How this has a cult following, or any following for that matter, is beyond me. This has to have been written by a 7-year-old. It's probably some of the worst, most tiring writing I've ever heard in a movie of any genre. Dora the Explorer has better dialogue. Hell, silent movies from the 20s have better dialogue. All four of the main characters are terrible, and terrible actors.
Negative.
yeah.
And
Negative.
Agree.
last one
How
from
can you
Paul.
say the writing's bad when one of the quotes I wrote down was diddly diddly dee?
Diddly diddly dee. Rhyming murder.
Actually, we missed the quotes. There were some good ones, like "fuck you, Lucky Charms."
Yeah,
There's some really good quotes.
I'm gonna use that
I
one.
liked burn in hell, you little green bastard.
That was good. I'm sorry I missed that section. Okay, the last one-star review. I can summarize this film in one word: bad, or two words: very bad. Bad acting, bad story, bad dialogue, bad effects, bad film.
With so many other words that he included.
So I already told you guys, Siskel and Ebert, we got skunked. They did not review this movie. They were snobs. So
Cowards.
we're lucky to have Dari here to do that for us.
Who
Your
is
Siskel- Siskel and Ebert were they were the biggest movie reviewers. One with the Herald, Chicago Herald, and the other one the Tribune, and they did end up doing competing reviews, and then had a show together where they both review from their opinion. Yeah.
Back in the 80s, that was the source. If we wanted to find out if a movie was worth going to see, that's all we had, was those two guys. That's why I keep referencing them.
What happened to Ebert? Something happened to him, right? He died?
Well, they both died. One got brain cancer and the other got jaw cancer.
Mouth
What is it?
cancer?
Throat cancer.
Yeah. He was talking too much shit, and God sent him a message.
They hated each other.
Oh,
They hated
really?
each other.
They hated each other. Yeah, no, that Siskel and Ebert is a fun watch because they're often on the show just fighting with each other.
Yeah, they're from competing newspapers. They hated each other.
Oh, I thought they were pals.
I don't know if they really hated each other, but on the show
Yeah,
they made it look
Did
like
they
they
never
did.
grow to love each other doing work together for so many years, or did they always hate each other?
Always hated each other till the last day.
That's
To the last day.
honestly, that makes me like their reviews more, knowing that there was so much drama.
So we know this is a franchise, but do you guys think this movie deserves a remake, prequel, or sequel?
Something this campy and silly and ridiculous, I think it deserved the sequels it got. As far as a
agree.
remake goes, no, like let it stay in the 90s. I don't think it needs to be redone.
Yeah, I don't think it
No.
could be redone any better. It was a good, solid, campy watch as it was.
For what it is, it's great. Like, I really don't know what you would do to make it better for a Leprechaun-based
I'm excited
horror
to
movie.
watch the sequel in my free time.
Well, I'm going to tell you about the sequels, if that's okay. So it had 8 sequels,
No.
8?
Yeah.
and I have the Rotten Tomato scores for
What is
all
it,
of them.
Fast and the Furious?
Wasn't there one where it's Leprechaun in space?
Let me tell you the list. I got the whole list here. 'Cause you
Why
guys are
didn't
gonna
we
love
watch
this.
that one?
So remember, critics gave Leprechaun a 33 on Rotten Tomatoes. So Leprechaun 2 in 1994, the year after, 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's
No.
tough. That's impressive.
Leprechaun 3, 1995, 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
No.
Are these all directed by the same man? Just to be clear.
I don't think they are, no. The franchise has a life of its own now. Leprechaun 4 in Space, 1997. I mean, it sounds fantastic, but it got a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes.
What?
That is crazy.
But Leprechaun in the Hood, 2000, got 33% from critics.
Oh my god, we need to watch those.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
this one, a Leprechaun Back to the Hood, 2003,
Back to the Hood.
20% on Rotten Tomatoes. Leprechaun Origins, I'm guessing they went back to the start, got a 0%, as it deserves. And Leprechaun Returns, so the last installment in this was 2018, it got 45%.
2018.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
But here's what's interesting, is the total franchise only made $11.5 million at the box office. The total franchise, but it made over $50 million in home sales.
Honestly,
It is that kind of
it's-
movie, though.
It is. It really is.
It's got to be some kind of world record to have that many zeros in the same franchise.
Yeah.
That's
It's incredible.
crazy impressive.
But they must make money, because if you do a 0, a 0, a 0, and you still get the go-ahead to make another one, that's incredible.
It sounds like some sort of money laundering's going on. Someone's
really
hiding a
does.
pot of gold in these movies.
And I also I find it wild the way in 90s like sequels, the way it was made, it was more believable that the Leprechaun would go to space before he would go to the hood. Like, they put him in space and then they were like, "No, this isn't working. Let's go back to the hood again."
Yeah, like the Space Hood, and then the next one will be Back to the Space Hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I'm intrigued by some of these titles.
yeah.
They are hilarious.
Do
They
you
are
know if
absolutely
Warwick
hilarious.
Davis continued to play
No,
the Leprechaun?
he did not.
He was
He did not.
recast.
Oh, well then I'm out.
I think maybe he did Leprechaun 2, but he did not do the whole franchise. Well,
he is in Leprechaun 2.
is he? Okay, he did Leprechaun 2, and then he didn't do any more of them after that.
Who did the rest?
He's in Leprechaun 3.
I'm being fact-checked live, people.
Wow.
Well, fact checked, recorded.
He's in Leprechaun 4.
Is he in the hood one? I need to know.
We're going to keep going.
Is he in Leprechaun?
He's in 5. He's in the hood.
Warwick, my guy. He's like Vin Diesel.
Oh, yeah.
It's a franchise.
I'm so intrigued as to like what could be the premise for him going to space?
I don't know.
We need to go watch this film and do a second
I know
part of
there's
this episode.
obviously a lot of gold in the hood with the jewelry and grills that
He is not in
Those people
Leprechaun
wear.
7 The Origins.
Maybe
He stopped at the Hood sequel.
Yeah, he went for the first 6 films.
I
That's crazy.
do want to know how he got to space. I really do. I agree with you. Like that's
In Leprechaun Origins, the character was played by Dylan Hornswoggle Postel.
good old Hornswoggle.
Hornswoggle.
That's his nickname, I guess.
You know, I have to say, circling back, I'm thinking about leprechauns in space, and maybe they launched him into space to get rid of him, and that makes me circle back to our movie that we're talking about here. And I did think it was irresponsible of the Irish fellow in the beginning to just leave this leprechaun in the basement. Like, I think he should have buried him, sunk him in the ocean, something like that, or sent him to space.
But then the 4-leaf clover would have come off of the crate.
You can put it in a Ziploc bag and staple it to it.
Or he could have got more 4-leaf clovers. You know what I mean? Like he gave up after just having one, and he was like, problems. Well, also he was a drunk, so like I understand. True. I resonated with him.
Okay, let's conclude. Is this movie too old or pure gold?
It's a pot of fool's gold, but it's pure gold.
I think that's
pure
well
gold.
said. Yeah, it's
pure gold,
it's
definitely.
It's fool's gold, but it's pure.
Pure, full pot of gold.
Purest, that's sweet, pure.
This is pure gold. And Matthew, we've had a few tough titles to go through in the past couple of weeks. This is a refreshing change of pace.
I feel like the last few movies I had to watch for this, I was struggling to get through. And this one, right out of the gate, I was like, this is so fun. I'm having the best time.
Well, if you have 2 hours to kill, Leprechaun or White Knights?
Leprechaun. I'm sorry, Matthew. White Knights is not nearly as fun as this.
Oh, it's not fun. White Knights is not fun, but this is fun. They're different, back to back, 4 hours.
What is White Knights like?
Now I've got my cold open for the White Knights episode.
It's a White Knights is a ballet and tap dancers get together to try to escape the Soviet Union.
Wow, isn't that awesome?
That does.
I disagree. It's
incredible.
Russian and an American do karate dancing together. That's the premise.
That's more.
That's and actually that makes it sound better than it was.
Yeah, but no, Leprechaun is definitely more entertaining and fun for all of the family. You can watch it with anybody.
Daragh, would you recommend this to all of your Irish friends?
I mean, not just Irish people specifically. I feel like we can all learn a lesson from the leprechaun and the struggles he faces in his day-to-day life.
That is fair.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like that. Great way to conclude this episode.
Magic and vengeance get you out of most problems.
Magic and vengeance. Magic and vengeance.
This was very fun. Daragh, I appreciate you joining us. Do you want to tell people where they can find your work?
Yeah, you can look me up on Instagram. It's Daragh_Turner, but Daragh is spelled Daragh, and then Turner is spelled like Turner.
Like Turner and Hooch.
Turner,
like,
yeah,
like Turner and Hooch, yeah.
The Z is silent in Turner.
Yeah,
got it. We appreciate you being on.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
We should have him on a non-St. Patrick's Day episode as well.
Yeah. Also, just this is not coming from the point of view of an Irish person. The time you record this podcast really messed with my weekend's drinking plans. So I feel like a later time start would always be better.
Well,
Daragh,
I'm drinking right now, so I don't know what you're doing wrong.
That's most of the reason Daragh has not been on yet is the time that we record this podcast.
And this is the difference.
He's not what you call a day walker.
It's the difference between us Gen Xers and the others. We're old, so we go to bed at 6 and get up at 3 a.m.
Nice. That's good.
Dara's going to bed.
What's this we you're talking about?
Oh, sure. Pretend like you don't know what's going on.
By the way, Matthew is the worst friend to have for a sleepover party. It's like, we're going to bed now, 6 o'clock.
Wow. Lame.
I know someone like that.
How dare you?
I wasn't talking about you. No, I know a girl my age who does that. She's like, it's 8 p.m. I'm going to bed. No one's allowed to make noise now.
Well, Daragh, you've earned a drink, so
Cheers.
go get Will to crack that scotch that he's got there, and
I got
go
some
for
whiskey.
it.
Yeah.
But please come back. I love hanging out with you, Daragh.
Thanks very much. I appreciate you. It was
You're
a
very,
pleasure.
very fun, and people need to check out your comedy because
Thank you very much. If you like classic racism, you will love it.
I'm dying to hear how that Terry Fox joke ends.
No, you will not be happy about the ending of that, but the man's a fraud, so what are we talking about here?
Shout out Terry Fox, man.
Yes.
Please donate.
Yeah.
Please,
Please donate. Do the run.
Please donate.
All right.
All right, great
Matthew,
app,
you got
guys.
any closing words?
Death by pogo stick.
Oh, yes.
Love it. There's a tagline. That's the cool.
Bye, guys. This
Bye.
is great.
Everybody.
Take it easy.
Bye.